When Walt Disney was set to open Disneyland over 70 years ago, he wanted to ensure that a part of that park was a reverence for the United States of America and our American heritage. Yes, it was Walt Disney himself who conceived of and designed the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island, a concept that while starting in Disneyland was copied over to what is now Walt Disney's flagship park, the Magic Kingdom in the Walt Disney World. But today, Bob Iger's Disney company is poised to destroy the Rivers of America, bulldoze Tom Sawyer's Island, and thus demolish Walt Disney's legacy and erase America's heritage. It's a move so bad they're actually being called out by America's #1 financial resource, Forbes Magazine. On a complete opposite note, you have made a great move today to click on and watch this video. And another great move, click that like button before we get started with this incredible story about how you might want to start to doubt your really bad decision when Forbes calls you out. You may or may not realize that Disney is getting ready to destroy one of the most beloved areas in their flagship park, the Magic Kingdom Park in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Yes, they are set to destroy the Rivers of America. Not only destroying part of the park, but also destroying part of American history. It is such a bad move. They've been called out on this move by just many, many different people and outlets. But surprisingly, at this point in time, you've even got Forbes calling Disney out for how bad this move is. I'm going to put this on the screen so you can see it right here. This is right out of Forbes. Disney facing furious backlash over $17 billion theme park investments, specifically for the Rivers of America investment. And you can see there is the Liberty Bell Riverboat passing Tom Sawyer's Island, a much needed area in the Magic Kingdom. When if you're at the Magic Kingdom, it's go, 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 go. And you need a place to relax. You need a place to get away from it all, a little quieter place. Maybe you can take a picnic. That's what Tom Sawyer's is and what it's all about. And this article is out of Forbes, written on the 2nd of April by Caroline Reed. Disney's Magic Kingdom in Orlando has long been known as the most magical place on Earth, but fans and industry luminaries have warned that incoming changes could cast a dark spell on the historic theme park. Understanding the cause of their concern requires looking back to 1955 when Walt Disney himself swung open the doors to Disneyland, which was built on a former orange grove in California. Amongst its opening day attractions was the Rivers of America, a network of waterways which were navigated by old-fashioned paddle steamer and featured scenes from frontier era on their shores. Over the years, other forms of transport were added, giving guests the option of traveling on smaller keelboats and canoes. That was in Disneyland. They all combined to create a setting that looked like it had come straight out of the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and there's a good reason for that. Disneyland broke new ground because, unlike the amusement parks of its era, its rides and attractions were integrated into immersive environments. As Walt himself said, Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. And testimony to this, in 1956, he themed an island in the middle of the river network to Finn's Adventures. It is home to a network of caves complete with hidden treasure, a floating bridge from the barrels, a fort, a shipwreck, a tree house. In keeping with its theme, signs are scratched into the driftwood and painted on the cave walls, while maps of the island look like they are drawn on parchment paper, called Tom Sawyer's Island. It is accessible by rafts and still welcomes guests to this day. And so, yeah, you can see where their article is going, and I'm trying to see if I can find a particular part. This is a great article out of Forbes. I'm going to put it in the description, and so you can read it, because this is really long, so I'm not going to get into this entire article, but I'm going to see if I can find the highlights that I want. In June last year, Disney got approval for a $17 billion 15-year plan to develop Walt Disney World. Again, investors weren't convinced. Stock price plummeted 1.46% to close at 101.50 on the day that the approval was given. By the way, I believe it's lower than that right now, but we don't give financial advice on this particular channel. The development plan needed a final vote from Orlando's local district, and when they signed off on June 12th, Disney's share price dropped to 0.4% to 100.8. Notice that as they're making these announcements, the stock price is dropping. So it talks about fans eagerly awaiting. Then there's the concept art that shows the Cars Land will be located in the Frontierland section of the Magic Kingdom. So this is what it goes on to say. Magic Kingdom would feature 2 completely new attractions. Both feature ride vehicles would resemble the colorful cars from the eponymous movie series. So they have oversized eyes and their windshields and mouths for the front ventilation grills. They're talking about the new Cars theme land. Here is where we have the issue. Although the theme wasn't a surprise, the location of the Cars Land was. Based on the concept art, the dirt track of the flagship attraction appeared to be replacing the beloved Rivers of America, along with its island and steamboat. It left fans in a state of shock. And it wasn't until February this year that it started to get real. The catalyst was Disney receiving official approval from the South Florida Water Management District to make a fundamental change to the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island. It was clear that the plans were moving forward, but the theme park community still seemed to harbor hopes that Disney could do a U-turn or that the replacement would be a worthy successor to such an historic attraction. The final straw only came when Disney posted a video of the new attraction on social media last month. Far from looking majestic like the riverboat or an oasis of nature like Tom Sawyer's Island, the video showed a ride vehicle resembling an all-terrain vehicle racing around a dusty dirt track. It fueled an almighty uproar on social media. Nobody wants this to replace Rivers of America, wrote the incisive theme park industry commentator, WDW Pro. That's right, WDW Pro just got cited in Forbes Magazine. Another observer called John replied to Disney's post saying, "No one wants this," a sentiment which was echoed widely, with Kate Fisher adding, "I don't know how we can make this any clearer to you. We don't want this."
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Many of the comments revealed how strong the sentiment is to the original attractions. The Jimmy and Fam account posted photos of the river and the island, accompanied with the words that Disney is ripping the heart out of the Magic Kingdom. David DeMarc put it another way by pleading with Disney not to take away the ambiance and nature the island and riverboat bring. Giving further insight into the motivation for the objections, Buzz Bradley explained that anyone under 45 years old has probably never seen a turn-of-the-century style working riverboat once in their lives unless they live in a river city with a waterfront district, like I did. I grew up in St. Louis. Many of the comments acknowledge the deep irony of Disney draining such an iconic location and replacing it with a dirt track just months after the company's chief executive boasted that it has free space all over the world to build entirely new lands. Indeed, a number of the comments noted that the Cars attraction would be better suited to the Fantasyland area of Magic Kingdom due to their whimsical theme, or even Disney World's Hollywood Studios Park. Those are attractions there are based on movies. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what Magic Kingdom, what they're trying to do over there by destroying Rivers of America. And if they go forward with this, there's still a chance they don't, but if they do, it's one of the dumbest things ever. As Florentin says, Rivers is the best scenic place. Kind of ironic. They don't want the Tiana riverboat appearance, nor the river going to villains in a spooky way. I know. When I was covering Tiana last year, I'm like, well, the one good thing about it, you got a riverboat that comes right by here that could be celebrating Tiana just like it did in the movie. The riverboat looks very much like the riverboat from the Princess and the Frog movie. That Park Place, M. Montanaro wrote about this, and I want to share that story over here. So let's get that one on the screen as well. Forbes torches Disney as Imagineers, historians, expert pundits, and fans unite against Rivers of America demolition in Walt Disney World. Yes, fans are very much united. Nobody wants this. I think it's going to kill the Magic Kingdom, especially as Magic Kingdom goes up against Epic Universe. But we shall see. There is a beautiful picture of the riverboat coming across Tom Sawyer's Island, getting ready to dock. When Disney makes national headlines, it used to be for billion-dollar acquisitions or blockbuster box office numbers, but this time the House of Mouse is under fire, not from competitors, not from politicians, but from every corner of its own fan base. In a blistering piece of for Forbes, journalist Caroline Reed lays out the full scope of Disney's latest disaster, the planned demolition of the historic Rivers of America at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. It's the kind of scathing critique rarely seen in legacy media, and Reed pulls no punches. Her article titled "Disney Facing Furious Backlash Over $17 billion Theme Park Investments" details a wave of fury sparked by Disney's decision to replace the scenic Rivers of America, the iconic steamboat to Liberty Bell, and Tom Sawyer Island with a Cars-themed rally ride. Yeah. Forbes also directly cites that Park Place and its publisher, WDW Pro. This wasn't just a rundown of negative tweets. Reed's piece functions as a public indictment of Disney's leadership, especially CEO Bob Iger and Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro, for bulldozing heritage in favor of synergy. I don't know why they say that. There's nothing synergistic about the cars going in there. Ugh. She traces the story back to Walt's original vision in 1955 and explains how the Rivers of America weren't just filler. They were the heart of the park's immersive storytelling, offering guests a tranquil escape steeped in Americana. And how needed is that at the Magic Kingdom, especially being completely in opposition to what's going on in Epic Universe. It's good to have that complete opposition. You want to differentiate yourself. The Magic Kingdom Park with the Rivers of America is actually quite different than the Epic Universe, and that's a very, very good thing. Now Disney plans to drain all of it, quite literally, in favor of a dirt track ride featuring oversized cartoon ATVs from Cars. The backlash, swift, merciless, nearly universal. A rare consensus. Nobody wants this. WDW Pro's damning quote shared by Reed, "Nobody wants this to replace Rivers of America," was echoed by thousands of fans, travel experts, and even former Imagineers. The Forbes article catalogs the avalanche of public outrage from iconic voices like Mickey Central and Disney Magic Mike to veteran Imagineers and designers Jim Scholl and Eddie Sato, who offered actual solutions to preserve the river and build a new attraction elsewhere. There is the Disney parks talking about how they're going to destroy rivers and fill it up with a bunch of dirt. Not a good idea. And then Pro says, meh. Now put it beyond Big Thunder. Nobody wants this to replace Rivers of America. Instead of accepting fan feedback, Disney has steamrolled ahead, literally. Earlier this year, it secured approval from the South Florida Water Management District to begin altering the landscape around the river. The final gut punch came when Disney posted a promotional video for the new ride showcasing a dusty rally track with bouncing ATVs. Gone was the elegance of the majestic and peaceful riverboat. Gone was the serenity of Tom Sawyer's Island. In its place, a glorified off-road simulator. Oh, God. I mean, how bad is this thing going to be? That video ignited a social media inferno. "We don't want this," wrote one commenter. "Ripping the heart out of Magic Kingdom," said another. "How has it become this bad?" asked the third. Forbes even quoted Frommer's The Respected Travel Guide, mocking Disney's plan. Is this Disney? We could do this by renting an off-roader anywhere in America. By the way, let's just say just about anywhere in the world. Disney has land to spare, so why destroy the river? Perhaps the most baffling aspect is the sheer amount of land Disney owns. Reed reminds readers that the Walt Disney World expands over 25,000 acres. That's, by the way, about 40 square miles, most of it undeveloped. Even Iger recently bragged that Disney has room to build 7 full lands. So why target the Rivers of America? Reed, WDW Pro, and others point to an obsession with synergy. Iger himself admitted it in May that Disney park expansions are now dictated almost entirely by existing intellectual property. That is a man, and that is an idea that is completely out of touch with the reality of what people want when they go to theme parks. Yes, sometimes intellectual property can be exciting. Other times you don't need it. What's so creative about the Magic Kingdom is the fact that it doesn't have to utilize known intellectual property everywhere. And by putting it everywhere, it's taking away the magic from the kingdom. And now it's just going to be the bland old place to go. Yes, it's all about the IP. He said Cars Land, Toy Story, those draw the returns, but returns at what cost? And do they really drive the returns? I don't think they do. No, we're seeing it less and less, that's for sure. Plus, they have expiration dates. The river and the islands aren't just attractions, they're historical landmarks, time capsules of Walt's philosophy. Former Imagineers have warned that removing them weakens the emotional pacing of the park. Jim Scholl called them decompression zones, areas that allow guests to rest and reflect between the chaotic energy of modern rides. Eddie Sato noted that the river offered contrast, chocolate and peanut butter. That heightened the impact of adjacent lands. Without it, the park becomes just another IP treadmill. Fans, experts, and designers agree this is a mistake. It's rare to see such a unified front. Retired Imagineers, professional designers, fan influencers, travel experts, all speaking with one voice. Jim Clark, another former Imagineer, even created a tribute video to Rivers of America using Walt Disney's own quotes, emphasizing just how central this attraction has always been to the park's identity. The message is clear, and Disney is not listening to its guests or its legacy. The timing couldn't be worse. The timing of this disaster is no coincidence. Disney stock remains below $100, a 20.5% drop in just the past year. Attendance at domestic parks is soft, and Universal's Epic Universe, a bold, tech-forward new park, opens in just 2 months. Disney needs goodwill right now, and instead it's igniting its own fan base in a self-inflicting PR firestorm. Reed's article in Forbes rightly points out that Disney has walked back bad Walt Disney World decisions before. Remember, Disney Enchantment or Harmonious both were scrapped after fan backlash. But other areas marked for destruction, like the Adventurers Club or Maelstrom, were lost forever. The real tragedy here is that it didn't have to be this way. Scholl and Soto have both posted alternative designs showing how Cars Lands could be added without touching the river. These aren't wishful sketches. They're the work of seasoned professionals offering real solutions. But so far, Disney's response has been silence, legacy, or liability. Reed's article ends with a poignant observation. The Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island are uniquely American attractions. They speak to generations of park goers, grandparents, parents, and kids alike. With deep emotional resonance, Twain's America may be fading from the culture, but it's still alive in the Magic Kingdom for now. If Disney destroys that heritage in favor of synergy and sales, it won't just be removing a ride, it will be severing a lifeline to Walt himself. The question now is whether Bob Iger and the current regime have the humility to admit they are wrong, or whether they'll press forward and watch their most loyal fans walk away. And that's exactly what is going to happen. That's already been happening. That's the weird part. Disney's not listening to the fans. The fans have been walking away in droves, and it's really, really surprising. Sound off in the comments below. Are you excited about Rivers of America going away? Do you think that Tom Sawyer is irrelevant and Americana are irrelevant? Or do you think that it's important to remember the actual frontier of Frontierland, which would have been Missouri and the Plains and Tom Sawyer's Island and the Rivers of America, representing, by the way, the Mississippi, the Missouri, the Ohio, all the great rivers that make our country an amazing geographical miracle, basically. It's sound off in the comments. Let me know what are your thoughts on this, and should Walt Disney World decide to keep Rivers of America and maybe just go with a different area for Cars Land, or their version of Cars Land, which I think they could do. Let us know before you go out the door. And we do thank you for coming in today and checking out this video. Please do leave a like on this video before you head out the door. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and click that notification bell. When you click it, you stick it to the YouTube algorithm. You get notified of all of our uploads here at Follow the Bradley's Fun, including our daily dish, which we do live every morning at 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Be here for that. And until next time, we will see ya real soon. Bye, everybody. Ciao.